Around 3 weeks ago, I got into the worst moment of self-doubt in my life. I felt like puking every time I wanted to open my own piece and read it or go through my book. Maybe I'm not a writer yet, but I am a storyteller. I believe in the power of storytelling to create communities. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Beijing International Airport. In case you miss me being in an airport, a lot of things happened since last time I talked to you. This is about the literary workshop that I'm going to. What has been happening since I got the visa? I panicked, basically. I panicked so much because this is the first time I'm going to the US. I wanted to share with you some of the thoughts going to this literary workshop because it means so much to me. Because becoming a writer has been a dream when I was a kid, and I can't really believe this is happening, that I'm actually going to a writing workshop. The book I'm writing, that I hope I'm going to publish in the next 1 year, means a lot to me because it describes the journey of finding yourself through heartbreak and using all those originally negative feelings to spur self growth and to find the energy to move on and to find the energy to reinvent yourself in ways you've never thought of. So, when I got in from the waiting list, it was shocking and I couldn't really understand that this is happening. Why? Because this is something that I told myself I'm gonna do last year, but it was something that you tell yourself and you might not believe in at first. And I was very happy, of course. But then they gave us access to read the other participants' writings and their pieces. And the moment I started doing this around 3 weeks ago, I got into the worst moment of self doubt in my life. I literally felt like puking every time I wanted to open my own piece and read it or go through my book. I had such high expectations about how I'm going to review the book and review my draft and make the manuscript ready to share it with potential agents. And my anxiety was so high that I literally couldn't open the file on Google Docs, and I just couldn't get myself to understand what my place is there. And then I guess I just procrastinated on doing this by my typical thing, which is do everything else that makes you feel productive minus the exact one thing you have to do, and that scares the shit out of you. So I worked and I got myself in an emotional roller coaster and just accepting responsibilities and being more involved with my YouTube. And then 1 week ago, what happened was we had this orientation workshop where I finally got to know who the people who wrote those pieces were. It was at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, and the moment I popped on the Zoom screen, something just clicked and I felt at ease all of a sudden because most of those people were either much more senior than I am and have much more experience, but also the younger people, they have specialized studies in writing, they have done their MFAs or they're working in literary agencies. So hearing all of this put my mind at ease, I guess. And for the first time, I realized how lucky and how amazing it is that I'm actually going to learn from all these people, that I'm going to spend a week hearing their advice and having them literally obliterating my work and getting their views on how to improve. I feel like this is going to be such an incredible turning point in my life. And more than that, I realized that, okay, my greatest advantage in this situation is just me being the noob in the room. I'm gonna be the sponge to absorb everything. So once my mentality changed, I started to reread their pieces with fresh new eyes and super relaxed, which allowed me to finally understand what they were writing about and finally engross myself in the stories. I was absolutely mesmerized. All of these little topics that they're talking about, their different styles, writing styles, their different themes, the vocabulary that is used, the phrases that they're using, make me so excited about meeting these people and learning from them and knowing how they manage to get to their level, but also kind of understanding where my place is in all of this. Because initially, when I was reading one or two or three pieces which sounded really intellectual and which had the type of vocabulary I wish for as a foreigner, with English being my second language, I realized that, like Yu Hua, the Chinese author, used to say, maybe my greatest advantage is that English is not my first language and that the way in which I write is easy, accessible, and simple. After I read all of these pieces and I went back to my own writing, I realized that actually it's not that bad, that I laugh, that those feelings are genuine, and that what I'm trying to do is tell a story, not necessarily craft an intellectual piece, not reinventing language. I'm using language as a tool to express emotions and to connect to an audience that might have experienced those things too, and that will create a bond over my writing. So I guess it's a very popular in the sense of like people's type of approach to writing. What I want to achieve is to have communities bounded over my writing and the genuinity of the stories. Because I am a storyteller. Maybe I'm not a writer yet, but I am a storyteller. And I believe in the power of storytelling to create communities. And I guess this is what I'm trying to achieve with my writing. So, what's going to happen next is we're flying to the US and I'll meet these people and I'll also meet an agent and an editor. And funny story, I know, but I try not to get these two people initially, thinking that the type of authors that they represent might not make them consider me that seriously. However, now I'm all in the business mode because whereas I'm not a writer, I am a businesswoman. And when I have a gap that I need to fill in terms of experience, knowledge, or network, I just need a business plan and a strategy, and I know I can make it. So I'm very excited to meet these people, to pitch my story, and to pitch my desire to become a writer. And other than that, and the most important one, I really want to enjoy this 1 week because I'm going there humble, wanting to learn and wanting to discover the realities of my dream, the practicalities of it. This week, I want it to be my first step towards the identity that I've always dreamed of. And making it happen. One chance is all I ask for. One chance to prove that I'm worthy of sitting at a table where I can express the love I have for storytelling and transform my dream into reality. I know that even this time I'm still the apple among the peers and the outsider. However, all throughout my life, whenever this happened, I proved it that given that one chance, I'm going to make it in a way or another with more or less time needed than others. But I have two things, and that is one, love for storytelling and a desire to build community, and second, a crazy determination to make this happen. So stay tuned as I'm taking you on my first journey to the US. Who knows, maybe it's the beginning of the birth of a world renowned author. See you guys.